the fuck is up, my britches? If you're new here, hello, my name is Brittany. In today's video, it should be a relatively quick one, but today we are going to talk about the Adept Cosmetics Plain Jane palette. If you are not new here, you are probably tuned in for our new makeup releases back in December. I was initially all over this, and then while we were live, we were talking about this palette, and I didn't realize that it had launched yet. There were some questions initially about this palette, but since then I had seen reviews on this palette, I saw swatches, and Mamma Mia, this just had my name written all over it. So I'm going to show you guys some swatches today. I'm going to show you how to take this look up another level, because that's where I really feel like this does stand out, because it's all going to be like the special types of shades, like the topper types, the super glittery, metallic, just multi-chrome, duochrome. All of the goodness is up in here. If you guys are watching this live, do you guys have this yet? I'm very curious to see what you guys think, but I wanted to get this video out there because I have noticed that the pre-order for this palette is getting into the later months. Like, I think it's already into June, April. I'll get into all that information in a minute, but if you guys are liking this video, don't forget to hit the thumbs up or down. If you're hate watching, I'm good with that too. I can respect it. And I'm also going to do some comparisons because I do have my Cleona shadows out. I have my Divina shadows. I pulled out my Lunar Beauty palettes because I feel like there's two shades in particular that I was thinking of when I was just thinking of other palettes that this could remind me of, and just show you guys comparisons and stuff like that, because I feel like that is very helpful. So diving into it really quick, you have seen me wear this a few times now. I wore it actually in my last video with my Natasha Denona, what was it? It was my new makeup releases, but I was wearing the mini Love Story palette, and I had this palette on top. And then if you guys follow me on Instagram, you guys saw me wearing it right here, where I was wearing the Sydney Grace Enduring Love palette. And then I was like, you know what? I want to take this up another level. So I threw on this shade right here, just right on top of the lid. And that's again where I feel like this palette really does stand out, because it takes the looks to a whole nother level. And that's what I live for. These are the types of shadows that I like. And since seeing other people talk about it and show swatches and stuff, I'm like, bitch, fuck me up. I need it. So I've never tried this brand before. I do want to get into the information about this palette as well, because like I said, this is available now, but it's available for pre-order. So I know not everybody loves that. I did order this on pre-order. I ordered this back in, I think it was December, and then I didn't get it until January. So I haven't had this for insanely long, but I'm already noticing myself reaching for it a lot. So just getting right into it. It's available for pre-order. Late March, early April is when it's supposed to ship. It's $62, which I feel like, honestly, at first I was a salty bitch about this palette, because initially it was $52. And then during our live stream that we were talking about new makeup releases, the price went from $52 to $62 within that stream. And it rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. Looking at it now, I'm like, you know what? $62 for how many shades we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You have 12 shades in here. For $62, I really don't feel like that's that bad of a price when you break it down that way. So it ships late March, early April. However, if we could send it sooner, they will. I feel like mine was right along where they had said it was going to ship, so I wouldn't count on getting it earlier, but it's like an added bonus if you do. So you get limit 1 per customer. If you order other items with your pre-order, they may all ship at the same time. I'm just reading everything like right to the side here. You have swatches on the website. I think Adept does a great job at showcasing swatches as well. A palette full of super sparkly duochromes and multi-chrome. Each shade is removable, magnetic, and will contain 3 grams of product. You have iridescent shades as a new formula, and they're in new colors in the ACI. That's pretty much how they label their products, or their shade names, as they say ACI and then a number. I feel like that's how all of these, yeah, it's like ACI 1 into ACI 12. So these are all new shades here. Made in the USA, you got a net weight of 1 times 3 grams or 1 times 0.11 ounces or 27 millimeter pans. Say that 5 times fast. Wow's up. Total approximate net weight is 36 grams within this palette. Please be sure of your purchase at this time and it cannot be canceled or refunded. So that's just a little bit about this palette itself. Again, it was sparkly. It was multi-chromes and dual chromes. I wanted it. Did I need it? Absolutely not. But did I want it? Yes, I did. Hold on. I got to shift this over. Oh, I just got really close to the microphone. Your guys is welcome. This is just, it's driving me nuts. There, that's a little bit better. Not that it fucking matters because my background's a hot mess anyways. But, okay, so did I need this palette? No. But what really got me is, first of all, it's a palette. I'm a big fan of just palettes in general. I love having the options of singles, but it's not my favorite. Like, I would much rather just buy a palette. You know, it's just like a preference thing. So $62. Let's do some math because I wasn't prepared and do this ahead of time. You'd think I'd be able to do this in my head, but I can't do math in my head. So you're paying roughly a little over $5 per eyeshadow. That ain't bad considering when you shop other brands, when you're getting shades like this, you're paying more per pan. I feel like with every other brand. I don't know. That's just like in my mind. I'm like, yeah, I feel like I'm usually spending a minimum of like $7, $8. Am I the only one that thinks that? So when I first saw the $62, I'm like, listen, I don't love the fact that it changed from 52 to 62, but after talking to the brand owner, because I did DM the brand owner after that video, I said, hey, just want to know, like, what's the dealio? What's the tea? Why did it change? And I guess it was posted previously that the price was going to go up in the new year. I'm assuming it's because the material cost probably did go up. So they basically just put that cost onto the customer, which if we don't like it, then don't fucking buy it. Plain and simple. So initially I was a salty britch, but then I was like, you know what? It's cute as fuck. It's palette. I like it. So let's look into this. So I'm going to do some swatches. So you can see here's an overview of the palette. We've got the mirror, we've got the brand name right here. We do have a sticker on the back, but at least it looks like it belongs there. It has all your ingredients. It's got 12 months shelf life. It has your net weight and all that stuff. Cruelty-free and vegan. I believe, isn't Adept Cosmetics, I think they're based in Canada, but I could be wrong there. I feel like they are, but I could be wrong, so I don't want to say yes or no. And this doesn't say whether everything is like handmade or anything like that. It just says made in the USA. Love that. Yep, that's pretty much all the info that's on the back. Here's the front of the packaging. It's like basic ass packaging, but it's still nice packaging. So I'm not mad for getting these types of shades because I feel like what you're paying for is the cost of the eyeshadows. Like, I'm not expecting like a super luxurious type of packaging when I'm paying $62 for these types of eyeshadows. Does that make sense? I feel like what you're actually paying for is the shadows themselves. So let's do swatches. Swatch. We love swatch parties up in here. So I'm just going to do ACI 1 to 12. Just do them in order that way. So it'll be the top row, then the bottom row. So the first row, we got ACI 1, ACI 2. ACI 2 is the one that I was wearing in the look that I did with the Enduring Love palette that I showed you guys earlier. So this one I feel like is more of like a dual chrome. It has more of, I would say, like a reflectiveness, whereas ACI 2 you could definitely see more of a glitteriness with this shade here. I'm going to pull you guys in just so you guys could see swatches a little bit better. So that way you could really see the shifts as well. I know there's other videos. I know Heather Austin did eye swatches on these, which that was the video that sold me this damn palette. I'm like, oh my god, they look so nice on her. So you can see ACI 2, it definitely has more of a glitteriness to it. Whereas I feel ACI 1, it's more of just focus on, it's got a slight glitteriness to it, but it has almost like a brown base with a gold, orange, red. So this would be probably classified as a multi-chrome. And I feel like this is kind of along the same color family, just a little bit sparklier, which I'm all about that life. I love it. Oh, Amy has a code? I did not know that. Amy, okay, I'm going to put that on the screen. Use code Amy Loves and it cancels the $5.95 shipping costs. I didn't know she had a code. I don't even think I used a code. Did I? I can't remember. I probably should have checked ahead of time. So this will be ACI 3 and 4. These ones are going to be more sparkly. Oh my god. If you love sparkly eyeshadows, this will be a palette that just, it speaks to you. Yes. See, don't you guys love swatch parties? Shipping to Canada is $33. Damn! I don't know why. I thought they were in Canada. But yeah, I'm full of shit, clearly. So this one here, I would say this is like a duochrome. It's got that pink base to it and it has a gold reflect. This one here, I don't see a crazy shift. It's basically like a pink to a purple, which is still really pretty. I love these though, because like I said, I'm going to say this probably a million times throughout this video. It just takes your look to another level. And that's what I love about shadows like this. Then we have ACI 5 and ACI 6. ACI 6, fuck me up. Look at that eyeshadow right there. Oh my gosh. That looks so pretty. Oh, yeah. Oh, you could see that shift right there. It's got pretty much like a gold base, but then a pink reflect. Oh my god, that's so pretty. I'm going to do ACI 6 on the side, and then I'm going to do the second row on the other hand. Oh my gosh, that's so pretty. It almost feels like a putty. That's what that ACI 6, like I just dug like a dent in there. Oh my god, that shade though. That's so pretty. Oh my god, I love that one. I mean, okay, here's the deal though. If you have like a big collection of singles, these are probably going to be shades that you probably already have. Like when I look at these, I'm like, I think I already have a lot of these, or I have something that kind of resembles them. You know what I mean? But I love the fact I have them all in a palette and they're all organized. I love that. That one aspect I just really love. So let's move on to the second row. We have ACI 7 and ACI 8. Yes, bitch. I feel like what these are going to remind me the most of, I haven't compared any side by side myself yet. Oh, that one's got a lot of sparkliness to it. On my hand, when I look at it right here, it looks pink. So this has almost like a yellow to a pink reflect, even though it's not showing up nearly as strong. These I think are going to remind me of the Divina Star Chasers the most, except the formulas are quite a bit different. See, look at that sparkliness. ACI 8, that's another one. It's just beautiful. When I look at it at this angle, it looks purple. So you've got blue to like a purpley. Yeah, it just, swatches like these do these no justice because it looks so different in real life. Like it's ridiculous how different these look. Let's see. Number 6 is amazing. I'm going to show you really quick so you can see like the dent that I was talking about that I just left. That one definitely has a softer texture to it. Now we have ACI 9 and ACI 10. ACI 10, I feel like we've seen so many times. I think this is like similar to what we see in like the Lunar Beauty, what one was it? Strawberry Dream, something along those lines where it has that white base, but then it has that really intense reflect. And then ACI 9 is, I think, what I'm going to put on top of this green that I have going on my eyes right now. But it looks so, like it looks green there, but it looks pink when I look at it like this. It's like trippy. I wish there was a better way. Like I know people do like the mirrors and stuff, but it doesn't capture the exact same way. But it's the sparkliness. This isn't nearly as like shifty though as other ones that I've personally seen. If anything, it looks white in the pan, but then it has almost like a pink to a gold reflex. So I think this is probably like one of the most like least unique, if that makes sense, but it's still beautiful. It still looks beautiful. That on an inner corner would be hot fire. Now we have ACI 11 and 12. These ones look a lot more textured in the pan than the rest of them do. I feel like if anything, maybe ACI 2, I'm going to try to hold it back just a little bit so it's not blown out. I feel like these have a similar texture as far as being very textured looking. You know what I mean? So then we have ACI 11. This is another one that's very, very soft, very similar to ACI 6. And then ACI 12, this one's also very soft. But damn, my phone is going ballistic right now. I loathe being in group chats. Oh my gosh. That's so pretty. Look at all these all together. They just look so nice. And then ACI 12. Oh, bitch, fuck me up. That one is nice. Ooh. You know what? Now that you just said the escape pod, I think some of these, I have the escape pod next to me too. So here's all the swatches of the plain Jane palette. Beautiful. Love the textures, love all that shit. I want to take this look to another level and just spice it up. What's that like meme on, was it on TikTok, where it's like, with a little bit of spice, you know? That's what we're gonna go for. So I think I'm gonna do ACI 9. Just because, stick with the greens, you know what I mean? I'm just gonna take this right on my finger and then just pop this right over the top. And then if this doesn't give me what I'm looking for, I'll take a different shade. So it does change it a little bit. I feel like this shade, ACI 9, is probably not as glittery and reflective as some of the other ones, but you could see the difference between this side here and then this side. It changed the green a little bit. This has more of like a minty sort of vibe, but this just gave it a little bit more sparkle to it. That's what I'm saying. Like, take your look to the next level, right? Okay, let me do a different shade on the other side, because ACI 7, I think, is gonna give me something a little bit more of what I'm looking for. That's the only difficult part about like dual chromes and multi-chromes. When you put it on your eyeball, especially on top of different shades, sometimes it will pull differently. So I'm gonna take ACI 7. So when you look at it, it looks like that. But when you put it on your eye, this is the shade that I was wearing with my Natasha Denona palette, the Mini Love. And it gave it a completely different type of look. This was more what I was looking for, because it more or less kept the tone of the green that's underneath it, but it just gave that little bit of oomph to that green. See what a difference that just made? Even looking at them side by side. That pulls way more green, but when you look at it in the pan, that don't fucking look green, right? They're trippy. They're trippy, but they're fun. And that's my favorite thing about these like multi-chromes and dual chromes. They just make makeup fun. I love it. So let me do like inner corner. I'm going to do a different shade just so I could see just what the different ones look like. I want to try this ACI 10 to see exactly how that's going to appear on the eyeballs. What's your guys' favorite shade that you guys saw today? Let me just pop this right here. So this one's going to pull definitely more pinky toned. Give you guys another scroll. I feel like it's more helpful seeing everything up close. Normally, I would not have chosen this shade to do by itself. I would have probably just went with, you know what, I'll do that anyways. I'll do ACI 7 because I think that this is going to be just a better, you know, a better effect for the type of look that I have going on. And you're going to see it pulls green. See how bizarre? Tiffany asked, what's the base palette? I was using the Nomad Cosmetics. Hang on, I'll show you in just a second. It's the Nomad Cosmetics. That's beautiful. I love that shade. It's the Iceland. What shades am I using? This is the Iceland Fire and Ice, I believe. I used the shade Odin, Dark Castles, and Frigg. That was everything. Oh, and then this was on, Northern Lights was on my lids. So this is the palette that's on my eyeballs right now. And bam, we took it to another level. Now let's do the brow bone. Right? Let's see. Do I recommend application with my finger only? It's my preference because I feel like I have more control as far as like the fallout situation. But I feel like these can be used with brushes. Like I'm using a brush right now. It's just preference wise, especially when I'm going like all over my lid. I tend to get a lot more fallout that way. Like my favorite brush would be, it's the Esum W21. Yes, this brush right here. This is my favorite type of brush to use with these. It's just, I feel like it adheres to my finger a little bit better. Like you could use a glitter glue. You could use shit like that. Ain't nobody got time for that. They just don't. I just want to go in and apply it and bam. That's all that I feel like I need to do. Let me balance out these eyeballs really quick just to give an overall like completed look sort of a situation, because then you could even layer them and make them super dimensional. These just, I'm telling you, these just make makeup for me so much fun. I love it. All right, let's see what you guys are saying in the live chat. So that's everything for what's going on my eyeballs. Now, here's the swatches one more time. I'm going to try to do a few swatches, but I'm going to tell you right off the bat, I do feel that the Plain Jane palette, formula-wise, I'm going to pull out that Collidos palette now that you guys said that. I'm going to pull out the Escape Pod. I feel like touching those, it reminds me, for the most part, of the Collidos, just because it's more, I would say, stiff. Whereas like with Cleona, with their, I think this is the incandescent glow bundle, or I can't remember. I did a dedicated swatch party on these ones. These honestly aren't my favorite formula just because they're very flaky and they kind of go all over the place. I feel like I have a lot more control with the Plain Jane. So if I were to compare a formula, I would say Collidos is probably the closest. So I think this is the one I'm going to focus on the most and just give you guys some comparisons between the two. So let me start off with, I'm going to do Starlight Sonata. I don't think these are as like duochrome though. That shade's so fucking pretty. Oh my gosh. I'm going to compare that to ACI number 3, but I don't think, yeah, they're not anything remotely similar. So that's just a comparison for Collidos versus the Adept. I'm going to try to get shadows that are remotely close, or at least that I think are going to be close. I'm actually going to keep ACI number, what shade did I just use? ACI 3. I'm going to put that next to Amaretto from the Collidos Escape Pod. I think this one's going to be a little bit more pink, but very similar as far as like the whole, I think the whole aesthetic. Like you could see they're super sparkly. They give that just extra oomph. You know what I mean? I have been loving this damn palette. I think it's so, so pretty. But I do think that there are enough differences as far as tones that I'm glad that I own both of them. The Collidos was sent to me, by the way. I'm also going to take, let's do Space Oasis. This one's going to be more purple. I think this one's going to be more like a lavender, though. I don't know. I feel like they look like they're going to be similar. This is ACI 4, and then we'll do ACI 5 as well. There's just something a little bit, I think, extra about the Adept, though, compared to the Collidos. The overall tones are just completely different, in my opinion. I don't know. I don't really see much overlap between the two. At least looking from kind of where I'm looking right now. Let's take Cosmic Cabaret. I'm going to throw that underneath these ones as well. Okay, so Cosmic Cabaret versus, that was what, ACI 4. Those are kind of close, but I feel like this one just has a little bit more pop to it. So it's like, if you have the Escape Pod, maybe you don't, need the Plain Jane, because there's enough, I think, similarities, but they're not identical by any means. I'm going to take both of the greens from the Escape Pod. I don't have the Club Nebula palette yet, so I can't compare to that. These are both of the greens from the Collidos, and then I'm going to compare this to ACI 9. I'm trying not to wipe too much on my pants because I'm supposed to go work out after this. We'll see if that actually works out. So this is ACI 9 from the Adept palette. Is this helpful, like at all? I will say, looking at these next to each other, the Collidos doesn't have like the duochrome or multi-chrome flip to it. It just basically looks like this and that's it. Whereas the shade from the Adept palette, it looks pink to me, like when I look like this. So there is much more of a shift with the Plain Jane. So as far as Collidos versus Adept, kind of similar, but not really at the same time. Like I couldn't find any that were exact except for like ACI 3 in comparison to Cosmic Cabaret. Those were the only two that were remotely similar, but I still feel like they were different. I don't think I've seen the Breaking the Rules palette. I have to check it out. I haven't seen that one either. Is that the oh my god, there's a new brand that I feel like just came out with another one that I'm like, is that the name of it? I can't really remember. Okay, so Joanna says this is very helpful. Okay, so let's move on from the escape pod because I wasn't expecting that one. Let me pull out, these are my star chasers from Divina. I look at these, I don't think any of these are at all, like, I'll put them side by side for you guys just so you could see, like, the shades are just completely, let me zoom out and let me try not to break any of these because that would be fantastic if I didn't. So we've got Star Chasers is this top row, and then the two shades, this shade and then this shade. Those are the Star Chasers. When I look at these, I'm like, oh my God, that's so hard to see because the lights, they're not at all the same. The tones, none of it. Maybe I need to get like a dark palette just so this is easier to show. I don't think I really need to do any comparisons between the two because they don't look at all similar. These ones, like the Star Chasers, I think you're getting more of, I don't know, they look a lot brighter, but it's more of, let me do the green because I feel like the green is going to be remotely like, I think most people are like, oh yeah, they're the same, but they're really not. Like the Divina ones, I think are really beautiful. So when you look at them this way, they look similar, but the Divina doesn't have the shift that the Adept one does. So they are definitely different. I'm excited because I was like in my mind, I'm like, oh yeah, I probably already have these. But now that I'm looking at them and after swatching them and everything, I'm like, maybe I don't. Maybe I think I'm full of shit. Where did my little makeup wipe go? Let me pull out. I'm going to pull out the Cleona shadows just so you could see some. But I'm going to go right out on a limb and say I prefer the Adept formula over this formula right here. I wish I wrote down exactly what formula these are. They're like incandescent glitter multi-chromes is I think the name of these. And the reason that I say that is they're so, like, first of all, so chunky and so messy. I don't love that for me. That's one thing that I do really like about the Adept is everything's staying where it's supposed to because it has more of like that putty sort of a texture to it. So this one, I think, see, it's like you have to really like smooth it out. You see everything just falling all over me. I will say Cleona definitely has more of a shine to it, but I do think that Adept is a lot easier to work with. And you get not the same exact effect, but you get something that's very, like, see how you have that, like, high shine effect right there? That's the shade ACI 7 that I just put down here. This one's a tiny bit more green. That's the one that's on my inner corner and on this eye. I just forgot for a second. So you can see that really high shine reflection, but then you could also see the glitteriness to it as well. But the shifts are different between these two shades here. These ones are really hard. This one's gilding. The Cleona ones are really hard to tell because they all look white, whereas the Adept is not like that. So let me pull out another one. I'm trying not to wreck these in the same time. Let's do the shade Glint. Again, they're just kind of messy and I don't love that. This one has more of a blue tinge to it. I mean, okay, it's one of those things. It's like, do I think the Cleona are beautiful? Yes. Am I so glad that I own them? Yes. But I do think you can get a very similar vibe with Adept for the most part. I do think that there is definitely like, I feel like I'm repeating myself a lot during this video because I'm like, they're just different. They're not the same. I feel like with Cleona, my favorite thing about them is like their shades like this, where they have that actual like pigmented base to them. Maybe like the glitter multi-chromes will probably be more similar, but because I have, let's see, 3 rows right here. I don't have the whole collection, but these 3 rows from my hand up are all glitter multi-chromes, and I don't think I have any overlap within any of them. Let's try ACI 6, and I still feel like it's not going to be the same. This is Enamel, because it has like that purpley purpley pink tinge to it. Let's look at these two side by side. They're close, but I still feel like they're different. Like enamel, I think looks more purple. But you see how much easier that was? And then ACI 6 is more pink. Very similar, like I know you could see it, like I could see it. Very similar, like aesthetic, if you will. If you like the glitter multi-chromes, this would probably be a palette that you would really enjoy, except it's not as flaky as the Cleona. Cleona are still beautiful. I still love them. But sometimes they are flaky, and that's why I love using my finger. So there's those two. I feel like those were kind of similar. I also got the glitter multi-chromes from Cleona, and it's not my favorite of their options. My favorite formula from Cleona is their Vibrant bundle, because the formula isn't flaky, it's very smooth, and I think the shades are so incredibly unique. Like, I have never seen, it's these two rows down here. I've never seen shades like this. At least with a select few of them. It's getting so washed out by the lights, but you get the point. The bottom two rows on this side here. They're gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. I really like these ones as well. These are the hybrid multi-chromes. They have a brown base instead of a black base, like the jeweled multi-chromes up here. I have another order from Cleona coming, so please believe there's going to be another swatch party. But if I was to pick formula-wise which one that I'm preferring at this present moment, I just like this is not a hot fucking mess. You see how like everything still looks clean, everything just stays in the pan as it's supposed to. It's not a hot mess, and that's one thing that I do really enjoy. Let me pull out the Strawberry Dream, because this one shade is the one that I was thinking right up here, but I still feel like the Reflect is just slightly different, because it's got that white base, but then it has like a pink to a blue sort of a shift to it. But I feel like this is what everybody loved about that palette, especially. Like, I feel like no one expected a shade like that in the Strawberry Dream. And then this is ACI 10, kind of a similar vibe, but the undertones are different. Like the shifts are quite different. This is going to be a blue to a pink. This is more of like a gold to a pink. So still beautiful. Totally different vibes though, so not at all the same. So overall, guys, I would have loved to have gotten this palette for $52 just because I literally bought it shortly after that. But I still feel that this is worth $62. I honestly do. For the unique shades that you're getting, for the formula that you're getting, you get a nice palette. I mean, I like it. I'm into it. I think it just takes my looks to another level. And I love shades like this. I don't think it's going to be a palette for everybody. Like, some people could give two shits to have a palette full of like dual chromes and multi-chromes. I personally like that. I mean, did you see how many palettes I have filled? But it's just one of those things. I like it. You may not like it. You may say this is a hot mess. You know? I don't think it is, though. This is, I think, one of the best, like, multi-jewel chrome palettes to date. Because there's not a lot. There's not a lot that are already, like, curated for you. And you can shop individually on the Adept website, but I don't think any of these shades are available. So if I were to pick a favorite shade, I'm going to say, like, ACI 6. ACI 8 I really enjoyed. I really like ACI 7. And then ACI... I'm like, I like all of these. Because look how reflective. Like, this is exactly what I'm talking about. I'm like, just give this to me. Yes, bitch. I love it. I'm into it. If you guys do want to see eye swatches, because I was going to do that because I've done those before, but I already saw Heather Austin did a video on that. I'm going to link her video in the description box if you guys want to see them, because she has deep set eyes too, so it really showcases nicely on her eyes. Just like the reflex, they look super glittery and sparkly. Definitely go check out her video if you are interested in this. But for me, I would have loved to have gotten it for the $52, but I'm still not mad at the $62 price point. I don't know if Heather has a discount code. I know you guys said Amy has a discount code. Amy loves, you can save on the shipping. I'm not sure if Heather ever got a code, but I mean, if she hasn't, she definitely should. So other than that, guys, that's pretty much all I got to say about the Plain Jane, because you guys were asking still for it. I asked on my Instagram. I'm like, do you guys want to see it? Let me pull up really quick. I don't know if you guys saw my little reels that I did yesterday. or was it yesterday or the day before? But this is where I was wearing ACI 7 on top of the Natasha Denona Mini Love palette. It took the look to a different, I don't know, I was saying to people in the comments, I'm like, guess what's on my eyes? And nobody was guessing the Mini Love palette. And then I just threw this on top and it just totally took it into a different direction. I love doing reels, by the way. I think they're so much fun. Other than that, guys, though, if you have any other questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section down below. Check out Heather's video if you guys haven't already. If you guys did enjoy this, if you guys like swatch parties, if you like comparison videos, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. That's how I know to keep doing them. Or again, if you're hate watching, you can feel free to thumbs down. It's all good. I like that too. I love that for us too. Other than that, I will see you guys in my next one. I'm going to try to go get to the gym. So I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!